Because social media is growing so rapidly, we must look into the fundamentals of how to use social media responsibly. As we've mentioned, social media is the use of web-based and mobile technologies to turn communication into interactive dialogue. Thus, social media is very well suited for interaction between the public and agents. This dialogue should not be taken advantage of to the detriment of another agent or the public. Social media includes more ways to communicate your message than at any other time. Social media includes blog sites, social marketing sites such as Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter, and probably the most powerful social media site, YouTube. One thing that all these sites have in common is the concern for copyright infringement. This means that when you're writing a blog, make sure that it's your blog message and not a copy of someone else's. Even when you're tweeting a message, the thought should be yours. It's very easy to make this differentiation. If the document or the words are not yours, give credit to whom they came from. There's a very fine line between what someone else's is and what you have researched and modified for your own purposes. Changing someone else's article must be done so that it's nearly unrecognizable from the original. YouTube can be an even bigger complication. One of the major uses of YouTube is the use of the video walkthrough or even the neighborhood walkthrough. You must keep in mind that if you wish to use these types of videos for your own use to possibly send to a client, you have some strict laws to be aware of. A video that's been placed into the YouTube video domain is public domain, which means that you can send a link of this video by copying the link to the address bar. The video will then play in the YouTube public domain. However, many agents are stripping the video out of the YouTube public domain for purposes of inserting it into their own blog, website, or social marketing. This is no different than stripping a book cover off and putting yours on. It's prohibited by law. Here's a little Twitter point as well. Most agents know that many people will follow their site with the hope that the agent will follow back. Should you do this? The answer is, do you know them? If you don't know them, you're putting your reputation at stake. On the World Wide Web, information is only a click away. Web crawlers find the information that appears in Google searches by crawling through the information posted on the Internet. When a series of words or keywords is typed in, data that most closely match the keyword sequence will appear in the search results. Whether you're an employee or executive of a corporation, a small business owner, or responsible for making within an organization, it's imperative that you and the representatives of your organization understand the importance of responsible use of social media. Here are some tips that you can use to make better use of your social networking. What is your corporate message, brand, and identity? Make sure your employees understand it. Send out an information leaflet teaching your employees how to change their Facebook settings to make the personal information contained in their profile appear private. If you open a discussion board or permit comments on your blog, make sure it is moderated. You can change your settings so that you must approve any comment or post before it appears on your social media page. Restrict comments on your Facebook fan page wall so that only you can post comments. Educate your staff about the importance of responsible use of social media personally, professionally, and the potential impacts to your organization. The relationship between media and the concept of social responsibility is complex. terms are defined differently without a universal acceptance. Personal, cultural, and social values and ethics will influence what a person thinks is socially responsible, and thus they will think media has different functions. What follows are some of the factors that can be mentioned in the intersection of media and social responsibility. The most frequently agreed upon aspects of the media's social responsibility are the actions that are illegal. Saying or printing something knowingly untrue, or making accusations without evidence or attribution is illegal. So are straightforward cases of someone using mass media to incite violence or harassment against a particular person or group of people. Cases of obscenity in the media are punishable by government bodies in most areas. Claims made by advertising must be factual and attributed, particularly for health care products. Mass and social media is also something seen as capable of inducing social responsibility. This is an assumed intention of having news stations cover issues that impact the environment, nonprofit organizations buying advertising time to sell their message through commercials and prime-time dramas and after-school specials featuring themes of inclusion and tolerance. This assumption lies at the cornerstone of efforts like one college course entitled Media for Social Responsibility, where students organize and pitch a social issue to real media companies. An old argument in media argues a similar point, that media is capable of being socially irresponsible. This includes discussions of desensitizing video games, anti-conformist music groups of all genres of music, beauty standards suggested by models in magazines, shows like Sesame Street turning education into entertainment, televised worship services, glamorized violence on news programs, aiding an overly materialistic and consumeristic culture through value systems implied on commercials and teen dramas, and a general tendency to showcase performers and characters that are less diverse in race, sexual orientation, and socioeconomic standing than the populace at large. A recurring concern is how news outlets might let business interests determine, shade, or directly influence the stories they produce. Most newspapers, magazines, and television stations are owned by companies that are part of conglomerates, so that the news source is owned by the same people that own another non-media company. Some have published documents that serve as a corporate social responsibility audit for their media company. A related issue is how news outlets serve the interest of various political parties with the treatment they give events, including the context in which they present a quote, how much time and attention is given to various components of an event, and who they ask to comment on or explain the event.